Well, talk me through your pedal board. We got the color box on the floor.
Yup.
We ran out of real estate.
I know. This is very chaotic for breaking down the show because I'm like, it's on the floor. I'm like, where? It doesn't have a home. You know, I'm just like, where do we put it? Yeah, exactly. We're always like, where do we put the color box?
Yeah.
But yeah, color box kind of just as like a sweetener, you know, like add a little bit of a tiny bit of drive to the sound, but nothing crazy. And also like attenuate the mid-range, the highs, the low ends for the room when we're on tour.
Are you using it kind of continuously, or is it like a spice where needed?
It's an always on kind
Got
of pedal, yeah. So we have that.
Okay.
We got a compressor. We got a compressor that is, again, almost always on. I take it off for the beginning of I Need You when we want to get real quiet and really want subtle dynamics.
Okay.
But it just helps in a live setting where you want some consistency. You don't want it to be like shoo too much. Mm-hmm. And then what do we have? We have the pitchfork.
Okay, how are you using that?
Okay, so I have the Pog that is essentially always on as well with an octave up and an octave down on, just to beef things up. And then I will throw this on. The thing I like about this is like you can do, it can knock the volume up slightly.
Okay.
So I'll do an octave up and an octave down on that, stacked on top of that with the volume slightly louder than the signal without it. So you can do these like subtle, I mean, you can hear it more when it's like. And it's like, I mean, it's very subtle, but again, it's just.
Can we hear it just without, so like with it off and then put it on?
With it off and then.
Yeah, like a before and after almost?
Yeah, totally.
To see how it's interacting with the micropod?
Let me like throw it in a little bit more so we get it a little more, so it's a little more evident for you guys. So here's no pitchfork. And then pitchfork. But it's like, it's sort of just like a fun pedal for me of like, if
do you do that where you pulse
things are going crazy? Yeah, you can get these volume pulses and do that with, and it's much more, it's noticeable and not, but when it's like you're stacking your distortions and you want to just create like something rhythmic outside of what you're playing, create a pulse. And again, like that, like, wall of sound thing.
I feel like we can put it right here for the next guitar.
Oh my god, I would love that. That would be so, yeah. Well, I know, also I love this, like you can, it's like it's a whacker.
I like that he also added the font or the verbiage try me.
I know. But yeah, so that's the pitchfork.
Okay.
And the Pog.
Kind of always on.
Yeah, Pog is essentially always on. Sometimes it's like a little, in certain spaces it's a little too much, so I'll take it off, but.
What's the black box at the bottom here?
This is a clone.
Okay, now, why we got two of them? Brandon, come on.
I know. This one is more like we just want more of everything. This is like the like, go crazy mode, go stupid. This one is, I would say like, if this is the floor, we have, you know, that's a clean tone, and then the next step up is with the Pog, or with the clone. And then the next step up from there, again, for a song like I Need You, this is really useful, and then the next step up after that is, and then the next step after that is, and then the next step after that.
So for those keeping track at home, we went Blues Driver, Swollen Pickle, and then the Try Me.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So yeah, it's just, again, it's all about sort of creating more subtle dynamic shifts is really what I'm after these days with.
So those bottom
my board.
three, the black one, the blues driver, and the swollen pickle, those kind of like a sandwich? You're stacking them always?
Not always.
Okay.
Not always, but
So you will use the driver, the swollen pickle, kind of individually?
yeah, totally. And you know, we have a couple songs with the. Which the pog and the pickle work really well together too.
Yeah.
Just bring out some of that low end.
Pickle pog.
Pickle pog. What else can I tell you?
got
Then
two-
we've got delays.
Yeah, 2 delays.
Yes.
How we're using those?
So the MXR is kind of an always on thing, but I like it because it has built-in modulation, it's analog. It feels very natural to me.
Yeah.
It's forgiving. Little delay never hurt anybody. And then I also like to use it to create these kind of like these
Oh, yeah.
feedback moments of.
You ride that regen knob.
What's that?
I said you ride that regen knob.
Yeah, exactly. Which is super fun, and also it's very, you know, if you want to go crazy live, you can really,
Yeah.
you know, get into it and just like. So yeah, great one, and then we've got the DD7.
Okay.
And I just like the sound of stacked delays, and as this is a more like kind of natural analog sounding delay that blends really well. I feel like the DD7 is a bit more like evident of like that is a delay.
Yeah.
And I keep it on the modulate setting that gives it a little bit of
Warble.
yeah, a little bit of a chorusy effect.
Kind of like a deluxe Memory Man,
Exact.
but way smaller.
Exactly, and that's it too. I would love to just sort of go wild with like all the fun big pedals, but there's like an economy to like
You're already
whatever.
in trouble here.
I know. This is the start. Yeah, this is the studio rat pedal for sure. And then eventually, what I'd love to do is get like a ditto or something.
Yeah, looper.
Yeah, and I mean the other thing, it's like you can split that signal and like create a chorus between one amp and the other, just to play that up and get some of that like stereo chorus thing happening, like two distinctly or like one slightly like out of tune.
Yeah.
Guitar and in stereo live would be really fun, but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's essentially it. It's nothing too crazy. We're a 3-piece. It's like play, sing, perform. So I don't like getting too in the weeds with my gear for a live setting anyways.
Did you wire that up or did you pay someone to do that?
I wired it up.
I can tell.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. And that's the thing. I get gear people who come up to me and they're just like,
oh, they're the worst.
They're just like, that's not the order you should be doing that. And I'm like, well, I've been doing it this way for so long that inadvertently it's probably become the sound of my guitar sound.
Honestly,
so I'm
that's
kind of like
the way to go, though.
Can't care, or you know what I mean? It's like
so
this
wrong,
is the
it's
sound
right.
now, right? Exactly, and yeah, that's what I realized too. I think, like if you do things wrong, new things happen, new sounds happen. It's sort of like, I don't know, especially from a recording standpoint, just sort of like, and I mean, it's also why I love this guitar, kind of fucking around with things in like a intuitive baby mode sort of way is like, it's the best way to to stumble on something you wouldn't have.
I don't know
otherwise.
if you're like this, but I treat pedals kind of like I treated my old video games when I played Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega. Never went to the instruction manual. Plug and play. Figure it out.
100%.
We'll beat the boss sooner or later.
Right.
Same thing with pedals. Like I'll just tweak knobs and figure it out that way.
Exactly, and I mean that's the thing too. I've sort of come around to that, not in a live setting, but with gear at my studio. It's just I cycle through things a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's like if you don't really know how to use something, or there's no familiarity there, it becomes abstracted again, and you know, something exciting might happen.
Yeah.
You know, because I think a lot of players or whatever, musicians, it's you get your habits. You know, it's like you pick up a guitar and you're like, I know what Brandon does when he picks up a guitar. You know, he's gonna wow, ba dum boom boom, and just getting away from that and sort of like forgetting your approach.
Yeah.
You know, and I think putting yourself in like, I don't know, unfamiliar territory with your tools is a great way to do that.
Unfamiliarity is a way to breed new ground. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah, exactly.
It's a way to harvest some new ideas.
Yeah.
There's two questions I know that the kind team at Grimey's is trying to get out of here, and I totally appreciate them. But two questions. One was subreddit. There's a guitar player out there that wanted to know how or what you're using to create the tones on Greenland. And they were all trying to figure it out, you know, ping-ponging each other. And I don't know if you were playing on the set list, but I saw that and it never came to a resolution. So I wanted to help that guitar player out if you could even...
Let me think.
direct them in a way that could help them.
Okay.
Because it was all guesses.
Yeah. Okay. The MXR carbon copy had a part for sure. I think there was a DD7 on there as well.
Okay.
The Boss Harmonist.
Okay.
Not a Pog for octave stuff.
And how are you maybe recreating that live?
There was like a JHS Green Screamer or Green Bomber or something. It has like a plane on it.
Okay.
It's like an $80 pedal. That.
Okay.
And SM57.
Okay.
Yeah. GarageBand.
Yeah. Well, that gets us closer than they were getting. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other.
And a non-active Fender Roadhouse.
Okay.
Yeah, which has long been retired.
Did you take that preamp out?
No. So that was one.
Or
that,
disengage it, I guess?
No, that one I still have, and I'd keep the preamp going. But this one is just like it's an earlier model of it. I think it's like a 2007 that there's no preamp in it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.